Hello, everybody. I'm Marius Roberts. And for the last, 15 years, I've had probably the best job in the world. I get to drive all the new cars that come to market, and I get to call that hard work. What is cool about that is it puts me in a pretty unique position to be able to at least provide some advice to you, the consumer out there, when it comes to your purchasing decisions. Not just what car to buy, but potential pitfalls, things to look out for when it comes to the purchasing, the owning, decision-making process as well. So we've got a whole bunch of topics we're going to try and cover in as short a time as possible. I hope you enjoy the insights, and of course, feel free to interact with us if you've got any comments, suggestions, or you'd like us to answer some specific questions. Be more than willing to do that for you guys as well. So I thought we should start right up front with buying a car with your head and not your heart. I know it's a flippin' difficult thing to do, because for us in South Africa, cars are not really about getting from A to B. They're more about statements of our personalities. It says a lot about who we are, or maybe what we want people to think about who we are. So it's very difficult to dial back that enthusiasm. But if you go and look at people in Europe, as an example, they're very pragmatic in terms of their purchasing decisions. And I would like to kind of present a couple of suggestions to you to make sure that you end up in the car that suits what you need. I'll give you a great example. South Africans love their bakkies. So have a look at the moment. You see bakkies everywhere. Most of them are double cabs, 4x4. They've probably gone and fitted aftermarket mud terrain tires. They look the part. But if you look at what a bakkie was originally developed to do, it was a workhorse. Now, these bakkies are not really doing anything like that. Maybe they carry the occasional load of garbage to the tip, or maybe you're putting your kids in it on your daily commute, on the school run, on the highways and the byways. But you don't need 4x4 for that. Yet people are buying these vehicles. Difficult, I know, to try and convince someone that a bakkie is not what they need, because, again, it appeals to the lifestyle and the status. But that is what I mean. What do you need from a car? And that is something that I'd like to see everyone do when it comes to purchasing a car. Sit down and work out what exactly your needs are. So the sort of questions that you need to be asking are things like, how far do I drive each day? Crucial. If you're doing like a 50 to 60 kilometer daily commute, are you driving on highways? Then you want to look for a car that A, is fuel efficient. You're going to be certainly wanting to go automatic as opposed to manual. Comfort, massively important in this scenario as well, because you're spending a lot of time on the road. What are the commute conditions? Also important, because that'll determine how much ride out you need on your car. If you are driving in suburbia, great, but it could see you on the open road doing big mileage, needing to go on gravel roads and dirt roads. That certainly is going to change what you need from your car. And also size. Are you recently married? Are you planning on extending your family? These are things you need to look at long term. So you need to have quite a good idea of where you see your life going. I've been driving cars since January 1993, and I've had many cars over the years, sports cars, fun cars, SUVs, you name it. Not one of them has been a new car. Why? Well, I like to get more car for my money. So this is also something that's important to consider, because for many people, they want a new car. That is what their heart is telling them. But with your head, I look at how much bang for my buck can I get? And that's why secondhand cars have always worked for me. And I've never had a bad experience. So my suggestion, again, an important need here, is if you are not someone who is commuting, doing massive mileage every single year, and I'm talking like 35,000 plus kilometers a year, I would seriously say you need to consider looking in the second-hand car market, because it allows you to get a bigger car, a more powerful car, a car with more specifications, obviously depending on your needs. And that is a big value over what you get with a brand new car. I know there are some concerns about what do I do when I buy secondhand cars? Is it going to be reliable and safe? At the end of the day, most people aren't doing private deals anymore. You're buying it through a dealer, and most of those cars will still have their factory warranties of 3 to 5 years. So those would be the secondhand cars that I would kind of consider in the segment. You know what also helps getting you more bang for buck is not buying the popular cars in that segment, but buying cars that are maybe a little bit more left field, cars that maybe aren't in the most popular color. That also makes a big difference in terms of picking out some real bargains. But I think most importantly, whether you are buying new or used, spend time looking into the dealer that you're planning to buy from, because this, for me, I view as a marriage. You need to look for good, personalized customer service, and crucial, having good support. Because I think if you find that relationship with a dealer, it's very highly unlikely that you're going to find yourself moving into another brand over the years. And one last thing, this is very important. When you've got a list of cars, you need to make a list of cars that you're potentially interested in buying. Have a look online. There are so many really good quality reviews that will then highlight the highlights, the pros, the cons of each of those models. Do that. Narrow that list down to 2 or 3 cars, and then it's up to you. That's when you need to go to a dealer and get your bums in those seats. And don't just do a little ride around the block, because you're going to love everything about the car on a short drive. Try and spend as much time in the car before you do that big marriage, that purchase. Do your research, get yourself into as many cars as possible. And at the end of the day, yes, we want to be passionate about what we buy, but you need to be buying with your needs at mind, because that'll get you into a car that you really love, that deserves to be in your garage and save you a lot of money. I want to end this little piece just advising on road safety. The road trip is such a big South African mentality. It's something that we do. Before you do that, make sure that your services are up to date. There are lots of places you can take cars to, get them to check your tires, check your shocks, those type of things. So make sure your car is in good running order before you take it to the road. But something that I also want to encourage you to do every single time you go and refuel your car, check your tires. It's something that very few consumers bother with. And that really ultimately is the biggest safety tip for anyone, because that tiny little contact patch is all that is keeping your car on the road. And if you're running with overinflated tires or underinflated tires, all of the driver safety aids and all those things that cars have now developed only work in conjunction with the tires being able to provide that contact, that grip. So if you've got underinflated tires, you've got no tread on your tires, you really are putting yourself and all of us at risk. And at the end of the day, motoring is a thing of trust. I don't know you, you don't know me, but yet we're sharing a road together. So let's keep it safe for everyone out there on the roads. I hope these little tips and things that I've discussed now will give you some insight and help you making better informed decisions when it comes to purchasing cars.